Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing this morning? Welcome to the Managing Money Matters, because Managing Money Matters show. I am your financial lifestyle planner, Shaun, and I'm excited to come to you guys early this Saturday morning. I know everybody's probably just getting up, wiping the coal out of their eyes or making breakfast, but I'm excited this morning because I got one of my great brothers on the line with me, Mr. Claude Harris. We had a show that we did. If you've been following me, I was on 108 Praise Radio when we did our last show. But now I'm going to be bringing everything to you guys more from a social media aspect. So Claude was gracious enough to get up early and do a continuation of our last show. Good morning, Claude. How you feeling, sir?
Wiping the sleep out my eyes, man.
I see, man. Like I said, it took me a while because, to get all this beauty together, it took a while. Right. So I had to get up early,
Exactly.
How you feeling this morning, sir?
Doing well. Just excited about using this. Believe this is Be Live, I should say. This is amazing because I've never used this technology before, so I'm excited about just learning from you.
Well, man, I thank you because as you see, it's something that we're learning too, but we're growing and developing, and with growth and development, there's going to be a little bit of hiccups. So I apologize, everybody. We shared it that we was going at 9, but we had some technical difficulties, but we are up and running, so we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So, Claude, for the people that didn't tune into the last show, for somebody that's tuning in for the first time, why don't you just let people know real briefly who you are?
Yeah, definitely. My background, I went to Pittsburgh State University in 1992, so I'm very old. And then I graduated in 97 with a degree in accounting, walked on to play basketball down there, met my wife in my sophomore year at 20. And then from there, I went on to be an actuarial accountant for the NAIC, which is like the insurance commission. Left a secure 9-to-5 job at 27 and started my own business. I went from 28,500 to 33,000 my first year. And my second year, I grossed 110,000. So I went from there to doing commercial real estate for U.S. Bank. And then I bought about 16 rental properties in 16 months. And so I bought, I think about $1.8 million worth of real estate, wrote a book called You're Giving Me Money. And then I got into the financial services industry and started helping people when it comes to financial planning. So have another business that we use called College Coaching Network that helps kids find scholarships for college. But on the path now to try to get to 7 figures, man.
I hear you, brother, and I'm on that same path. And I just want to let everybody know, me and Claude kind of got connected through a mutual connection, Shaun Brown, who I hope is watching. And we got connected because of the college network that you have. And it's just an awesome thing that you're doing for the youth. I mean, this is just really impactful and powerful, even being a planner. This is something that we're looking to partner with and offer up to all my clients because it's just free money, right, Claude?
That's right. Yeah, $1,000 for every family that signs up, as long as their student is in from a newborn up into their junior year in high school. So they can actually get $1,000 through our Sage relationship. We just found out on Thursday, and I don't even think I told you this, that we actually just got approval to partner with Chick-fil-A through our scholarship app. So very, very happy about that. And we'll be rolling that out.
Man, that's huge.
Yeah, very excited about that, man. So, and then working with the YMCA to solidify not just the Young Achievers program, but the whole YMCA. So we'll hopefully have that done within the next week or two. So God is good, man. Just looking to use the gifts that he's given me to get out and try to impact the community.
Hey, man, I mean, that is like, that is huge. Chick-fil-A, I mean, for people in the east, on the East Coast or the West Coast, yeah, but down here in the South, and Chick-fil-A is huge. Yeah. So, the waffle fries, don't mess with the waffle fries. You get cut and mess with somebody with waffle fries. So congratulations, brother, man. I'm happy for you on that.
Yeah, eliminate.
And like I said, oh man, well, I get the honor palmers, man. Pray for me. I gotta do better, but you pray for me. I get the honor palmers. But I really am excited because this is a great thing that you're doing, and that's why I wanted to have you on my platform to talk about these things because it's well needed in our community. When we talk about managing money matters, planning for college education is a huge aspect of that. Like, people are giving their right arm and their right leg to pay for their kids to go to school, and have an option where you can get free money. Why wouldn't anybody do that?
That's
So
right.
let's talk a little bit about that. Tell everybody how the program really works.
Yeah, so it's a software-based program. We piloted the program with the YMCA about 6 or 7 years ago. And basically, the software
Hmm.
teaches kids how to do ACT test preparation, how to do research on the schools to see what kind of endowment money they may have, and then from that point, they also can go out and learn how to do college leveraging. So, college leveraging is, let's say, for example, you applied to go to a school in Atlanta. And give me a school that they have in Atlanta that's a pretty popular college down there.
Morehouse.
All right, Morehouse College. So let's say you get accepted into Morehouse, and then they send you like an award letter, and they're saying, "Hey, we're going to give you $20,000 a year to go to Morehouse." And then let's say 2 or 3 other schools at Howard or some other schools actually send you an award letter, and they're giving you 15,000. Well, you can actually use that 20,000 against the other schools to try to leverage them to give you more money. So we actually have a appeal letter already written in the software, and we break down how to get more money out of the endowment from the schools. So it's just more of a 24/7 platform. We've noticed, Shaun, that there's probably 300 to 400 students for every one guidance counselor. And so because the ratio is so out of whack, the families are looking for additional help. And so the software gives them $1,000 every year of their birthday through our relationship with Sage. And they also get the training of how to go through that process of college planning, because families just don't know how to do FAFSA. They don't know how to prepare themselves for ACT. They don't know when they should submit their applications for the colleges because they don't know the deadlines. So we have all that built into that software.
So just so I'm making sure I'm clear. So if somebody has a child that's a newborn and they sign up for the program, their child will get $1,000 every year on their birthday?
That's right. They get $1,000 every year, and then we have partners like Shaun Brown that you may reference to. He has a financial services division, and so any person that's in your state in Atlanta, they basically, or in Georgia, they can actually go down to him, and if he helps them out with any financial products, they can actually earn more money than that. But like a college savings plan or something like that, they can earn more than that. But a minimum of $1,000 to start, and $1,000 every year of their birthday.
And I'm going to take a little cheap plug right there, folks, because me and Shaun Brown work together. So if you do come, if this is something that you're interested in, please contact me. And then me and Shaun will come and sit down and talk to you and show you how you can get more than that $1,000 a year. So I had to take that cheap plug, Claude.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we were last together, we were really going in and talking, and we ran out of time. And here's the thing that I love about Be Live. We don't have no time, but we also don't have no commercials neither. So, we're going to talk as long as we want, but we're going to, be cognizant of the people's time.
Right.
But when we last left off, you were breaking down and talking about the 3 asset classes of money.
That's correct.
And this is just so powerful. So let's just kind of reiterate a little bit. Let's touch on basics. What are the 3 asset classes of money?
So if you don't mind, I just want to go and lay the foundation before I jump into that. So before we go into the 3 asset classes, which are paper assets, business, and also real estate. So those are the 3 asset classes, and I'll break those down. But when millennials come into the office, because I do financial planning, when millennials come in office, their premise is we don't want to be 62. We don't want to wait until we're 65 or 67 to retire. We want to be financially free when? Right now, right? Mm-hmm. And so because of that, we're trying to talk to them about how do they understand what their financial freedom number is. And your financial freedom number is, what do you have every month in bills? And if you look at your bills, lights, gas, water, mortgage, or rent, house, car payment, whatever you may have, are there any of those payments that you have that you can actually pay off? Now, there's some things, Shaun, that you cannot pay off, right? Can you pay off your grocery bill? You cannot pay. You're going to eat every month, right? Can you pay off your cell phone bill? You cannot. You can pay your cell phone bill, but you can't pay it off, right? I mean, we need these. Technology is prevalent. We got to have that today, right? And so there's things that you can pay off, which is like your credit card, a student loan, a car, a house, right? Any of those consumer debts that you may have. And what you can do, let's say my bills are $3,000 a month. If I paid off any of those things that I can, like car, house, what have you, I could take that number down to $2,000 a month. So now my financial freedom number is $2,000 a month. And so if I can create portfolio income, which is in these three asset classes, that can come in every month and pay for that 2,000, I am financially free. And guess what? I don't have to be 62, 65, or 67 in order to have financial freedom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Okay. So now that we understand how to get to the financial freedom number, then we got to understand how do we get financially free by investing money in these three asset classes. So I have a securities license. I'm also a financial planner. I have a 66 license, which allows me to do financial planning. So when people come into our office, we're talking to them from a financial planning perspective, which is how do we get you to put money into asset class number one, which is paper assets. So 95% of the people that come in my office have money that's in their 401k, right? So having money in that asset class is not bad, but then unfortunately there are some restrictions when you want to take money out of that asset class. So I want to kind of talk about those before I go to the next two. So, and if you've ever dealt with, let's say for example, I'm 44. So if I want to take money out of my 401k, I'm going to get hit with ordinary income taxes, right? My tax bracket is about a 28% tax bracket. So I'm going to get hit with 28% just to take it out, plus a 4 to 6% state tax, and then a 10% penalty because even though I'm 44 and I'm kind of getting old, right? But I'm not 59 and a half, right? So that means
the grade ain't showing yet. Don't worry about it. The grade ain't showing yet.
Yeah. So I'm going to get hit with a 10% penalty, right, for taking that money out. Mm-hmm. But there could be other places that I could put my money where I could take it out without paying any taxes on that money, be it a Roth IRA. I could put money into a Roth and I can take the cost basis out, not the growth, but I can take the cost basis out and avoid those things, right? So those are some of the things that we talk to people about that they don't understand, that they should maybe not look at putting all of their money in that one qualified bucket. But that's one asset class. So this is what the nerds like me say. I don't have my glasses on, but I'm still a nerd. So this is what the nerds say. You're supposed to live off of a 4% distribution from your paper assets. So let's say I have $1 million in my 401k. Let's say I was able to pull that off. Well, the experts say that 4% is what I'm supposed to take out every single month. So, or you can do that annually. So that's $40,000 a year because they average out that you'll get about a 4% return of the ebbs and flows of the market. The market is going to go up like it is right now, and it could go down, but on average, you should be able to get 4% consistently from the returns of the market, right? So that means if I have $1 million, then $40,000 of that is what I can actually take home as income, but I still have to pay taxes. So my question to you is, do you think taxes are going to go up or go down in the future?
Well, of course, I believe they're going to go up.
Okay, so the debate on the street is, we believe taxes are going to go up. I don't have a crystal ball. You don't have a crystal ball, but that's just our thought, right? Yeah. What evidence do we have that supports that thought? Well, right now you have inflation, right, which is not bad right now, but if you go and look at medical costs, inflation is crazy. If you go and look at college costs, inflation is crazy, right? And
especially college costs.
You know, see what I'm saying? So inflation, or look at food costs. I mean, things don't cost like now what they used to, you know, in the past. So over time, inflation has definitely went up beyond 2, 3, 4, 5%, whatever it is. But my whole point is that $40,000 that we're talking about in income may not go as far as we think it will in the future. Does that make sense? And so because of that, that $40,000, you still have to pay taxes on that. And if we have Social Security being threatened, like we have right now, if we have a lot of healthcare costs that's still going up, that the government has put themselves on the hook for, unless they actually repeal what's going on with the healthcare, which is a whole nother conversation for another day. But you've got all these future benefits, right, that the government has. And I don't know if you know this, but our deficit that we have right now, do you know that Social Security or do you know that Medicare is not included in that deficit? Did you know that?
I did know that. I know that people outside of our industry probably didn't know, but I was aware of that.
And Social Security is not in there for those who are actively not getting paid that. That's not included in the deficit either. So those are future benefits that the government has already said we were going to pay, but we haven't actually earmarked that as part of the deficit. So those things are not going to go down in the future. They're going to go up. And somehow we're going to have to pay for that. And who do you think is going to pay for that?
We are.
Taxpayers are going to pay for that. So our future income that we have in these qualified accounts, qualified means that it's pre-taxed. We haven't paid tax on it yet, right? And so I don't want to go too heavy on this, but I do want to hit some points so people can just think as they're looking at their statements. You know, open enrollment will be coming up for some in October. So people need to think about kind of their elections as they go forward. So if you have children right now, you can claim a head of household deduction, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And also you can write off. You can write off. I mean, that's a blessing to be able to write the kids off, right? If you have kids. Then you also have interest on your home, right? And taxes. So you can write those things off. If you're working, you can actually write off, if you are a believer and you give your tithe and offering, you can actually write off your charitable contributions. Even if you don't do it at church, you do it United Way or whatever you're doing, right? Some nonprofit. You can get a blessing and also use that on your taxes. But in the future, when you retire, hopefully your house is paid for. Hopefully your kids are out the house. And then your charitable contributions are going to go down, possibly, right? So the things that you have as deductions today, they're going to be gone tomorrow. So we talk to people about how do you take some of the money that's going in your 401k and put that into other investments so you can pull that money out without dealing with Uncle Sam's higher tax bracket possibly in the future. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it makes perfect sense because we talk a lot about that here in Atlanta as well. So. Okay.
So that's the part that people don't really pay attention to. It's not just having enough money. People believe that I'm going to put a lot of money in this 401k. There's going to be this great big pot of gold. And then one day when I retire, I can just live off this pot of gold. And millennials are like, we don't believe that. We believe that we have enough income coming in to be financially free. So I'll stop there because I don't want to go too heavy on that part. But let me now go into the next aspect, which is second asset class, which is business. So business is an extraordinary asset class because there's so many different things that you can do. I have a business which is College Coaching Network. And so I use that business to get in front of families, meet them, talk about financial planning. But we have another aspect that we're actually spinning off, and we're projecting that business will do anywhere between $30,000 to maybe $50,000 a month. And I've got a couple of other businesses that are coming right behind that one that will actually make that look small. But if you can create, but let me just give you an example because Chick-fil-A is a partner of ours. So from some of the things that we saw, you can buy a Chick-fil-A franchise, let's say startup costs in the franchise at $50,000. Well, you could actually make, let's say, a net profit of $100,000. And the way they do theirs is they actually split the profit off 50-50 between the owner operator and the franchise, right? So you could take a $50,000 investment and turn that into $50,000 a year in that example of passive income. We just said if you had $1 million in the 401k, that at a 4% distribution, you would make $40,000. So which one would you rather do? Would you rather work for 30 years and build up hopefully $1 million, or have $50,000 and create $50,000 of income within the next 5 years? Would you want to go 30 years, or would you rather have $50,000 within the next 5 years by going into the asset class of being a business owner?
Of course, I'd want to take the $50,000 sooner.
So that's the mentality of the millennials. Millennials are thinking, okay, well, I don't know if Social Security is going to be here. I'm working on my job. They don't offer me a pension anymore. Back in the day, do you know that the benefits that they gave you from a job would be you would get Social Security, you would have a pension, and then you could have a little bit of money saved over for a rainy day or what have you. Now these companies, and you've seen it, these companies, it's very rare that you find a company that pays a pension, right? Or do you see them? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, there's maybe one or two that I've seen here in Atlanta. And even with the pension, it's not what it used to be.
And what's happening is because the companies are putting that responsibility back on us to actually understand. There's so many people, Shaun, that I sit down with, they get their 401k statements and they look at them and then they close them right back up because they don't know what the heck the 401k statement is saying. Have you seen this before?
Oh man, I mean, all the time. People come to us for advice all the time about their 401k because they just don't understand it. And then you talk about it earlier with open enrollment. It's this little bitty window that they have to pick or make these choices. And they just pick his best and pray hope that it does well.
Yes. It's a big dilemma. And so what we try to do is educate.
It's a huge dilemma.
It's huge, man. And what we try to do is educate people on what's possible. So if you're actually investing in your 401k, great. But sometimes if you are getting, let's say, a 4% or 5% match, but you now are putting in 10 or 11 or 12%, maybe that extra you can look at maybe putting it into some other investment. And that investment may be something that you can do that gives you access to that cash without the 59.5 penalty. Like you talked about doing your own pension, maybe using a life contract or something like that if you want to look at those options. And then being able to have access to those funds to invest in your own business. But one of the biggest things that I want to make sure I dropped on everybody is just to understand something real quick. It's really twofold. All right, so the first thing is, have you heard of payday loans?
Of course.
All right. So payday loan, and I've unfortunately dealt with these jokers, so I know them personally because I've had some times, man, when my credit was I think it was 560, 570, somewhere around there, and I took it, maybe 580, and I took it to 705 in less than 90 days. You want me to tell you real quick?
Shaun, Claude, I'm gonna tell you, man, because me and you that's why I love you. We were not always financial planners, right? We know what the other side of broke looks like. We know what the other side of wealth looks like. Because I've dealt with payday loans. I've dealt with the rent-a-centers of the world before because I made dumb decisions. But I'm excited because you said that last time, but we didn't have time to jump on it. But you went from a 570 to a 705 in 90 days. Now, you know people want to know about that. You know you got to talk about it, right?
Yeah, let me drop it, man. So, I mean, unfortunately, her name is Glenda. She's passed now, but she had a couple, like a Sears Robux card, I think is how you say it, and a couple other cards. Mm-hmm. And so she actually put me on those cards as an authorized user. And all of her credit history came over to me, which was like 12 years of good payment history, came over to me within 30 days, I guess, is what it took to get on my bureau. But then in addition to that, I went to get what they call those things, like the Capital One cards, where you're trying to reestablish. So I did that. And then also the credit union will let you go out and do a CD loan. And so I took $500 to our local credit union, and then I borrowed against that my own CD and put it right back in my savings account. And then I just paid them back out of the money that I borrowed back off of it. And the fee was like maybe 13 to 15 bucks a year or something like that. It was cheap. But then I took that money and just paid that down towards that CD loan, but it reported to all three of the bureaus. So that's what boosted me up, was getting on hers and then actually trying to establish some new trade lines myself. The tricks that I try to tell people is, if you have an old debt that's 6-7 years old, write those dispute letters. You can do that stuff yourself. And I can actually provide that to you if you want to provide it to the listeners. Because I have a guy.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I got you. I got a guy named Ken Stone. That's awesome. He's done it personally, and he shared his letters with me, so I can just forward that over to you if you want to share that and be a blessing to other people on those dispute letters.
That'd be great. Also, I wanted to say one thing. We have one of the listeners. Her name is Allison.
Yeah.
She's a former. Me and her were on the station together. She also helps and specializes with credit restoration. She corrected me last time we was talking. I said, "Yeah, you do credit repair." She goes, "No, I do credit restoration." I said, "Well, go ahead with your bad self then." So she's on. I believe she's listening this morning as well. But that is awesome.
Good job. Keep up the work, Allison. We need more people out there getting educated about options. So So that's how I did that. But going back to the payday loan situation, so a person goes out there and they get a payday loan, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I looked on that APR on one of those statements, and it showed that the interest rate, no, their finance charge was upward to 238 to 300%. It's crazy. Crazy. That's
and you know what the sad part about it is?
Yeah,
people don't even look at stuff like that. They just take the money. They don't even look at what they're paying for it. And it's outrageous. There was a lawsuit that was filed here in the state of Georgia where I think a company was charging like close to 900%.
Yeah.
And the company got sued and they had to reimburse the people because it was like, that's like loan sharking on steroids. 900%. But people don't know. They're in a hard time, and I can sympathize because me and you have both been there. They just need an extra $1,000 to carry them to the next week, not realizing you're going to be paying on $1,000 for the next 10 to 15 years doing that. Exactly. Yeah, so it's crazy.
So this is the crazy part of the business part. So a lot of people say, okay, and I'm a fan. I mean, I advise people on stocks and stuff like that, which I can't talk about that because of my license, but I'm a fan of investing in the market. I'm not saying that. But you have people that own payday loan companies, and they're not investing in the stock market, man. They're investing in us making bad financial decisions. Mm-hmm. Follow what I'm saying? So we
totally do it.
We become their stock market. So this is what happens. You got somebody who has a 200% charge that they're getting hit with because they're getting every week or whatever, or every day actually, that the stuff is accumulating on interest. And what happens is the rule of 72. So I kind of shared this last time. If I take a 8%, let's say I'm making 8%. If I divide 8% into 72 and I have $100,000, it's going to take 8 goes into 72 9 times, if I'm not wrong on my math, right? 8 times 9 is 72, right? So that means it's going to take my $100,000 9 years to double. You follow me on that? If I'm getting an 8% return, 8 times 9 is 72, so 9 years is how much time it takes my $100,000 to turn into $200,000. Well, if I'm being charged 200%, how much time do you think it's going to take my $100,000 to double?
A lot more than 9 years, Claude.
Yeah, it's going to happen maybe within 9 weeks. Mm-hmm. And so this is how these people are able to make millions of dollars on our financial distress. And what I'm trying to say is there's ways that you can take money that you're putting into maybe qualified accounts and you can put it into other accounts where if you do hit a financial hardship, you can actually take that money and use that money for your own benefit and not run to someone else because you don't have the cash reserves to do it. Or you can use that money like Walt Disney did and borrow that money from your own investment accounts and use that money to start your own business. My second point. When you're a business owner under the second asset class I'm talking about, let's say, for example, I wanted you to become a client. I had some wonderful product and I needed you, Shaun, to become a client of my business, right? Okay. Well, let's say I have a free ebook, or I had some Hostess, or I had a free exercise equipment that you could test out, or whatever that may be to get you interested. And that freebie, whatever I gave you for free, got you to at least look at my product or service. And then after the freebie, you became a client. And let's say it took me $100 to acquire you as a client, but when you became a client, I made $500. How many times would you spend $100 to make $500?
Every time.
Every day.
I take that option all day. Yeah, okay. Every day, all day.
So follow me on this, Shaun. If I took $100 and I spent that money and I acquired a client that paid me $500, what's my return on investment? You're good with numbers, and I'm putting you on the spot here, but if I have $100,
you doing me like that?
So if I have $100, right, that I spent to get you as a client, and I make $500 on you, I'm gonna first take the $100 minus the $500 because that's my break even. Follow me on that?
That's my initial investment. Yep. My
initial investment. So so $100 off of $500 takes me down to $400, right? So if I have $400 and I got my initial investment back, $400 with no investment because my initial investment has already been recaptured. That's basically a 400% return, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. If you can invest in the stock market and make 400%, would you not do it?
Every day.
Thank you. So if you're able to invest in the second asset class, which is business ownership, you can actually make returns from owning your own business that you can never even touch in the market. That's my whole point.
And that's a great point. And I love it because, you know, even in our practice, we deal with a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners, and we educate them on the philosophies that we're talking about now. One of the things that when you talk to people, I used to always say, I believe everybody should be an entrepreneur for that reason, what you just stated. I believe that. But then I realized everybody doesn't have that mindset because there's also a flip side to that. Just like in the market, you can make 25 to 30%.
Right.
But then you can also lose 35 to 50%.
Exactly.
Same thing on the business. I just wanted to say this. With businesses, it comes success. We talked about the Chick-fil-A and things like that. With a business, with a proper planning, you can take your business to whatever level you see fit or I believe that God has for you.
Right.
But it ain't something that comes like in the next year. Most people get into business and say, well, I ain't seeing no returns or I ain't making a profit in the first year. Most business owners, it takes at least 5 to 7 years before you even start to pay yourself a handsome income.
Salary.
But you have to invest in it, and it takes time. So this is great information you're giving to people. You even helping me.
Well, and no worries. The key though is people have to understand that if you're going to go into the business, well, first of all, and what you said was spot on, but I just want to kind of piggyback on that. When I talk to people and they say, well, everybody's not meant to be a business owner. Yeah and no. When you went in there to that job and you interviewed, right, you were the CEO of you. And your job was to sell them on that you are an asset to their business. So you had to make sure that your hair was okay and you were groomed, and you had your suit on or your dress, or, you know, your power, dress, whatever you had on. And you had to go in there with your resume and prove to them that the way you managed your personal life was good enough for them to bring you on to the resources of that company. So I don't care how you look at it, we all in some capacity are entrepreneurs. Now you may work a job, but if you don't do your job, guess the company's going to continue. You just won't be there with them when they continue the company, right? Yeah. So we have to have a CEO mentality over our life. And some of us have the ability to take the hits that come with being an entrepreneur that some of us don't. But to some degree, we all are involved in that space, is my point, right? And
I'm going to be honest with you. You just said something that was so monumental. Some of us can take the hits that some of us can't take, because you're right. We're always, in everything we do, we're always selling ourselves and putting ourselves forward, even in our relationships, right? When you were trying to get with your wife, what did you do? You put your best foot forward to get what you wanted. I hate to break it down but that's the truth. You wanted a relationship with your wife.
Yeah.
Then you wanted to marry her. What did you do? You put your best foot forward. So if people can believe like that in everything they do, it's just hard for people. Steve Harvey said that. You're going to jump. That parachute may not open right away. So you're going to take some bumps, some bruises. Me and you both know, starting in the financial services industry, there is no income.
Right.
There was no income for me starting out because I came in experience. So there was no income for me. So that means that I had to make sure I had to get the bare minimums. Like we said, my number was 2,000. I had to work just to get to 2,000. So I was able to take some bumps and some bruises. I had a great support staff and a support team around me and my family, my wife, my mother. But it's a little bit rough. But you said something so powerful. Some of us can take the bumps that other people can't. And that's what I meant by everybody's mind is not conditioned for it.
Exactly. But the key though is, let's say for example, I'm an entrepreneur but I have a full-time job. Well, if I know that I have a full-time job and my bills are paid, I can get hit as an entrepreneur, because even on my worst day as an entrepreneur, I still have a job that's going to pay my bills. So to some degree, and this is my whole point, and then I want to go to the third asset class for the sake of time. Let's say, for example, I make enough money in my job to cover all my bills, and I go out and I have a business. Let's say I'm babysitting or I'm selling some stuff on eBay, because there's a lot of, soccer moms that sell stuff on eBay, and I can create $300 extra a month from a business. The business does a couple things, man. It actually opens up a whole lot more tax write-offs for you. Things that you could not write off before, now you can write off. Like your cell phone is a write-off, a portion of that. Your miles. I don't know if you know this, but people that are heavily involved at church, that drive back and forth doing like youth work or stuff like that for the church, there's a charitable write-off that you can use on your tax return. People don't even know you can actually write off your miles. There's a charitable mileage that you can use as a write-off, right?
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I knew you could write off your miles for your business. I didn't know you can do it for the charity. I didn't know that.
Charitable write-off. If you Google it, charitable write-off, you'll see that that's out there. But you can actually create more write-offs, and some of those write-offs that you can create may get you back another $2,000 or $3,000 more on your income taxes. And if you have children, that could be the very thing that can help you fund college. If you're able to get another $2,000 or $3,000 back, that's the equivalent of $200 or $300 a month, $250 a month that you can use to help you fund a 529 plan. I mean, so we have to open our minds up to thinking about why the tax laws in favor of business owners. Why? Because we create jobs, we create opportunity in the marketplace. So have that mindset. But I just wanted to point out that if you have a business and you can create $300 a month, I don't care who you are. I put it in calculations, and you took that $300 and did the Dave Ramsey snowball and put that towards your smallest debt, and then paid that off, and then took that money that you paid off on that debt plus that $300 and used that towards the next debt. I have not met a family to this day, and I've met with hundreds of families that was not able to get out of complete debt. I'm talking about house, car, student loans, credit card debts, right? All of that within 7 to 10 years. So if you just have a small little, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. And the thing about that is I believe the same thing. And this is why the education that me and you do is so important, because we have to help people understand that extra $300 is not meant to blow at Benny Hondas or, going out to nice meals. Because I tell everybody, what is a nice meal worth? And they say, well, what are you talking about? Do you know if you could take your wife out to a nice restaurant once a month and you spend $150, I'm taking my wife out. But if you go to your wife and say, babe, if we take this $150, we invest it in this debt, in 5 years, let's just say 5 years, because I'm an aggressive guy when it comes to debt. In 5 years, we'll be debt free, and then we can go eat out when and whenever you want, how you want. So instead of once a month, we can go once a week. But by then, we'll have some things that are owned by us. The car will be in our name. The house will be in our name. There's no more student loans. Navient is not calling us anymore. Right. People cannot imagine a lifestyle without bills. And I'm like, the wealthy do it all the time. They do not have, that's how they're wealthy, because they don't have bills. Yeah, they may not have the 2017 Tesla truck with the suicide doors. Right. But those people that have those things usually are leasing them, or they're broke. There's a difference between people that have money and the people that make a lot of money. So there's a lot of people that make a lot of money and don't have it. It's crucial out here. So I'm sorry, I had to get out.
No, and let me this is way off the beaten path, but let me just share real quick. Then I'll come back to asking class number 3. So, like, we have three daughters, and so we were looking at more me. I'm the hard head of the family. So I was looking at moving the family. I'm on this tangent. We're going to move. We're getting out of this house and yada, 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 right? And so I was so passionate about trying to get them into a better school district. And I have a scholarship app. So, I'm in schools all the time. I know about how important education is. But parents, we as parents have to stop putting the responsibility on the teachers alone to teach our kids. And I'll say that one more time.
Say that again, brother. Yeah, say that again, brother.
We as parents have to stop putting all the responsibility on the teachers to teach our kids. It's our responsibility to make sure that they have tutors if they need them at home. It's our responsibility to be the tutor. If you don't know it, get a tutor. If you know it, help them yourself. Stay on top of where they are with their friends. Spend time depositing wisdom into your kids. T.D. Jakes said, it's not what you leave your kids, but it's what you leave in your kids. What you leave in your kids will teach them how to manage what you leave your kids. And so that's important, man, just to make sure as parents that we're spending that time educating them on financial literacy. When we have family meetings with my family, we actually sit around and I talk about what happened with the monthly budget with the family. I talk about, these are the bills that we paid. This is how much money we gave to the kingdom of God, to church. This is how much money we spent for your lunch. And they were like, "What you spent?" Like, yeah, you guys, it costs money to feed you guys. At your,
Yeah, you guys don't want to eat that food. You know how much money I'm paying for it? You ain't eating it.
Yes, real, man. So, but these are things that I think is part of the legacy that they will take with them when they go out into the world, and they'll be able to think back and say, "I remember we had these family meetings, even though they probably didn't want to go to them most of the time, but it was something that helped them to kind of frame their own finances." So, anyway, I'm gonna jump over to you.
It's funny. It's funny you said that. And I know we got to get to this last one, but this is starting to get good. In our planning process, when I sit down with a client, one of the questions that I ask is, "How did you learn about money?"
Yep.
Because people don't realize, and this, it's an emotional thing, right? So when people have a bad day, what do? They reward themselves. Like, it's payday, and Friday came, and you had a bad week. What do? You go out to dinner, you buy the drinks and all of that. And before you pay the bill, you've already spent $150, $200 before you even made it home. So what you're doing, I want to commend you by sitting down with your family. You're letting your daughters know what's going on. They're learning about money. They're learning what it costs to be a child. A lot of children don't think there's a cost to being them. You understand? Like, they don't realize that there's money that's being spent out. And the reason is because as parents, I don't feel we take the time to explain to them what's going on in this house. I don't think kids are selfish. They just don't have a value of what's going on. But if you show them that value, like, yo, your lunch costs $50 a week, I guarantee you they'll start eating more because they're like, wow, my dad and my mom are paying $50 a week for this. As parents, we do so much to give our kids the things that we've never had.
Right.
We forget to give them the things that we did have. Like, I had a working mother and a working father, but my grandmother was always home making sure that my homework was done, that I couldn't go outside until this was done. But now as parents, we make excuses. Well, we both work, we don't have time, and we let TV raise our kids, and we don't show them the value of who they are. I love my son enough to let him know this is what it costs to be you in this world, and he values that. So I think that is really awesome and dope. So because I know we got to get to the third class, but Claude, you were talking. This is why I partnered with you, brother, because me and you are so like-minded, and we're talking the same thing. Even though you clean across the country, it's like we're connected as one, and we're doing the same thing. So I can't wait to really get together, because we need to get you out here to Atlanta, man. We can take over, brother. I promise you.
My mom, first my wife, my kids were like, "Oh no," but and then I'm an only child too, so my mom like, "Oh no." But then real quick, I want to throw this out, and then I'll go to the last one. People that have like their families and stuff like that, that is critical to teach your kids. We talked about that. But the biggest thing, man, that we can do as parents is live the life of having the right habits in front of your kids. So I want to touch on this real quick, and then I'll go to the third one, which is real estate. So the habits, I always wonder, I don't know if you've ever done this, but go through nice neighborhoods and you wonder, like, how are these people living in these houses? Or you go maybe over to a nice subdivision and you're like, man, it's the middle of the day. Maybe you're meeting a client that has, some good income, and you go over there and you see that the wife is out there doing the flower beds, or the husband's home playing catch with the son, and you're still out there like we were in the sales world trying to make another sale, and he's in the backyard or whatever, you're like, or just enjoying life. You're like, oh, they're taking trips, every year, and vacations and stuff like that. You're like, how are they able to do this? Some of the things, man, that I've noticed is things that they were taught that we weren't taught. So do you mind if I share a couple of those real quick with you?
No, I don't mind.
All right. So the book called Rich Habits by Tom Corley actually kind of solidified what God was already doing in my morning. So one person wrote a book, it's called The Miracle Morning. I don't know who the author is. One of my buddies, he makes about $440,000 a year. He told me about The Miracle Morning. He called me excited about how his life was changing, even though he was making $440,000 a year, to go up to 7 figures. And he went through a checklist of everything he was doing in the morning, and it was everything God had already been speaking to me about doing without me reading the book. So I want to share with you some of it. So first thing in the morning, Of course, and I don't want to, if you're not a believer, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I am a Christian, so this is my stance on this. But every first thing in the morning, I get on my knees and I say my prayers and thank God for the day. I go and brush my teeth, thank God, all right, and shave and all that good stuff. And then I come down with my Bible, which actually I still have it right here. I don't know if you can see this, but I still have my Bible right here. And then I actually have my journal. My journal is right here, all right? And so every morning I come down here and I just do a little praise and worship song. Some people say it's meditation. You just kind of close your eyes and just, thank God for the day. Thank God nobody robbed you last night. You know what I'm saying? Thank God that, no fires or, your house didn't get flooded out or nothing crazy, that you're alive, just being grateful, for the small things in life. And then I'll listen to like a worship song, whatever that kind of gets me into a grateful attitude. Then I'll listen to a positive message and I'll write down notes that I get from the positive message. And then I have scriptures that I read and then I write down kind of what God's giving me out of those scriptures. And every morning I do that. Then I run for maybe 15, 20 minutes and do my little push-ups. I still do my little push-ups every morning, my little 50 push-ups in a row. Yes. But the whole reason why I'm saying this is most people, man, they wake up in the morning and they hurry up and throw their clothes on and they run to work or they run into businesses. Very few people wake up and spend time working on themselves. And because I take the time, hopefully you caught that, because I take the time working on myself just as much as I do working on my job, I have such a positive, vibrant spirit that I attract opportunities that most of the time I would never attract because I have opened myself up to attract those things into my morning or to my life, I should say. And so I try to share that with people because it's those habits. 70% of successful people read 30 minutes every day. 70% of successful people exercise for 30 minutes at least 4 days a week. Why do you think a successful person thinks it's important to exercise for at least 30 minutes a day, 4 days a week? Why do you think that's important?
I believe it's important. I believe they think it's important because, health is wealth, one, but the energy that they need to get through the day, when you exercise, it just gives you a different energy. People say, well, I'm tired or hurting. Your body is actually ready to go. It's pumped up. It's going. That's why a lot of people say it's better to work out in the morning than in the evening. And I'm like that because if I work out at night, I don't go to bed till almost 12 o'clock because my body's still going. It's just a great way to get a day started and get energy. But you have to be healthy enough to kind of keep up with the load that God is putting on you. And I'll say this to you, I'm overweight and I'm working on it. And God had said something to me. I know a lot of people, when you say stuff like that, people look at you funny, but God had told me, he said, give that weight back to the devil so you can run the race that I have for you.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, and it really blew my mind because I think, especially in the church, what we do is we take all of the gluttony or the pleasure, and then we ask God to pray it away. We try to pray it away, right? Like diabetes is not God-given. It's something that we do to ourselves.
Right.
The devil didn't give me diabetes. That fried chicken I kept eating every day was giving me diabetes.
That cookie.
So I know it went off. Yeah, I know it went off a little bit, but that's why I think being healthy is important to being wealthy.
And that's spot on. The only 1% to add to that is in the book they said that successful people said that the first 10 years of your working history, you're normally at an entry level, right? On the back end of your working history, you've moved into mastery in your skill. And so you're at your highest income. So if your health is okay, they feel that you can squeak another 3 to 4 more years out of your working life. And you would make in those 3 to 4 years what you made more than what you made in your first 10 years in your entry level. Wow. So that's why they want to become more healthy. So just amazing. So I'll jump over to the third asset class. Is real estate. So if you move into real estate, and we could go a whole nother talk on that, but real estate, man, has a lot of wonderful things. When I bought my real estate, they gave me the money to buy the property. They gave me the money to fix up the property. I was a general contractor on those houses, so I would put $10,000 to $20,000 in my pocket tax-free because it was loan money out of every house that I bought. Mm-hmm. Any money that comes in as far as rents, your depreciation, for the most part, will pretty much wipe out that cash flow. So now every time you get paid every month, depreciation is pretty close to wiping that out. And then on top of that, you have appreciation, which is the house is going up in value. And do you think they're going to build any more land?
No.
So when you own real estate, and you own the land too. And so now you're in a position where you actually have a permanent asset that you can pass from one class to the next. So let's just say, for example, you needed that $2,000 financial freedom number. Good morning. And out of that $2,000 financial freedom number, you basically had, let's say, 5 rental properties, and all 5 of those properties, you netted $600 a month. You put Section 8 tenants in there, right? Well, you may have, let's say, $50,000 per house that you bought. You have 5 houses, so 50,000 times 5 houses is $250,000 that you've invested, right? But that $250,000 just paid you $36,000 a year, and if depreciation is wiping that out, that's tax free. So now with 5 rental property, and I'm not saying that you actually have to pay $250,000. You may put 10% down on each house and let the tenant pay it off in 5 to 7 years. Like you said, you're aggressive, right? So you still work your job, but now you got your rental properties that the tenants are paying off. And now you created in 5 to 10 years, wherever you may be in that range, passive income that's able to allow you to be financially free. And you don't have to be 62, 65, or 67 in order to hit that financial freedom number. So being able to look at how you're wired, do you want to just put money in paper assets? Or do you think you're open to take the hits from being a business owner? Or do you want to have a property management company come in and take over the real estate, management portion for you, but still have that income stream? You may want to do just one. You may want to do 2. You may want to do all 3. I would like to do all 3, right? Because ultimately, I want to let those asset classes allow me to have financial freedom. And with having financial freedom, I have more time to go out in the community, impact those people that need knowledge, impact people for God's kingdom, and be able to be a face that a lot of people don't see, which is a positive Black male figure. They don't see that very often. Like, we're dinosaurs now.
I'm telling you, and we walk around with our pants on our waist, but they belong too. So here's the thing, Claude, and I'm telling you, you have blessed me this morning. This is why it's always important in any of these 3 asset classes, especially when you're dealing in the business realm and the real estate realm. It's always good to have a good team. So this realm, this asset class that we're talking about is the business. Me and Claude are partners in business. He helps me, he helps my clients, and as you see, he's taking time up this morning from his family, which I appreciate because he is an hour behind us, so this is kind of early for him, but he's taking the time out to get on here and help and support. One of the things I want to say is we talked about a lot this morning, and people are probably saying, well, I can't do that. That just sounds, you need to be working with either somebody like Claude, you need to be either working with Claude, myself, and Shaun, or somebody like us. Because we are telling you, we're men of faith. We have been to the lows. We have been there. And now God has just blessed us to be here, but we did some work. Don't just think God is just going to drop a house on you, or God is going to drop $1 million in your bank. Can he do that? Yes, but you got to put some work in. The Bible says faith without works is dead.
Yeah. So
you got faith, but where's your work? If you have faith, show me your work. And when you do work, all success is when preparation and opportunity meet. That's all it is. But you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. And sitting down with somebody like myself and Shaun Brown, love you, brother, and Claude, basically what happens is we help you put a plan together. We put the preparation together. So when the opportunity comes, there you go. You're ready. So I need everybody to know this because we've been doing this, and I'm gonna tell you, Claude, like we're doing the radio station. I was like, oh, I got commercial breaks, and I don't think we're gonna do it, man. We've been talking for about a good hour, and it just flowed, man. Like I didn't even realize. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Like, yeah, we've been on for about an hour now. But again, you got to tell the people how can they reach you, how can they get to college net, how can they get all of that. Just tell everybody
definitely
how they can find you, brother.
Yeah, so our scholarship website is collegecoachingnetwork.com. So you can come there and check us out on www.collegecoaching, managingmoney-network.com. And check us out. Our office number is 913-777-4940. I'd love to answer any questions that you have, and just be, a blessing to you any way we can. So grateful for the opportunity to help out.
Thank you, Claude, and we appreciate you too. And again, if you want to get in contact with me, you can reach me. Please, first and foremost, like my Managing Money Matters page on Facebook and send us an inbox with any of your questions or your concerns. Also, you can send an email to moneymatters03@yahoo.com, or again, just reach out to me, 404-431-8835. Again, if you are interested in the College Plan Network, I keep butchering that name, Claude.
No, you're all right, man.
It's the college, say it again.
Coaching Network,
College Coaching Network. Yeah, see, there you go. College Coaching Network. If you're interested in getting more information and you're here in Atlanta, contact me, and me and Shaun Brown will come out and tell you about it. And I mean, if you have a child, there's no reason you should not be in this program. It's just foolish not to. What me and Shaun will do is show you how to get more than the $1,000 that your child will get every year. So just give us a call, 404-431-8835, or Managing Money Matters. See, I got a Money Matters 03@yahoo.com, and we'll get with you. And don't forget to like the page, Managing Money Matters, on Facebook. Look at this video. I'm going to share it with you, Claude, so you'll have it, share it with your people. Awesome. And I appreciate you, man. This is our first Saturday show, man. I know it won't be the last with you. We're going to, because I know you're going to be busy. Plus, football season's coming up. So, we got to, we got to stay. My Giants is going all the way this year, brother.
I respect that, man. Good luck on that, though. I'm a Chiefs fan. Good luck on that.
See, there you go, bro. You had to take the little final dig. But it's okay, because, I mean, it's okay. I always tell people, and I know we go wrap it up, I always tell people, man, they are regular season champions, and the Chiefs are one. Y'all are regular season champions. It's just the playoffs that you have the trouble with.
You had to go there. I get it.
I'm just saying. As you said, good luck to you. Yeah. I'm a praying man. You a praying man. Let's see who prayers God answers.
That may be a miracle for us, but I'm a man of faith. We'll see.
Claude, again, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time with us this morning, man. I love you, brother.
God bless you,
enjoy the weekend with you and your family, man, and we'll talk with you later.
All right. God bless you. Take care of yourself, man.
You too, sir. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. And again, this is Managing Money Matters, because managing money matters, with your financial lifestyle planner, Shaun Bailey. We'll see you next week at 9 o'clock sharp. Tune in. Bye-bye, everybody.